Do I ever get demoralised and down about it? Actually, nobody asked that question. It was me that asked that question of myself. So I'll just answer my own question. Yes, Paul, you do get demoralised and you do get down when I see certain players. I guess John Mayer is one of them. Everybody started talking about John Mayer and I was like, who's John Mayer? And straight away on seeing the guy I thought, don't like you, but it was jealousy. It wasn't his playing, it was jealousy. I thought, he can write pop music, he can play the best blues. Anyway, so he demoralised me a little bit, but now I'm just trying to be the bigger person and I will stop short of learning these licks. That's a lie, actually. Anyway, but the other day I watched a YouTube video and it got me down just as I was thinking you guys were giving me nice comments saying, Paul, that's great. I put on this video, what was it? Martin Miller, never even heard of the guy. My God. And Tom Quayle, I've heard of Tom Quayle. And the pair of them are just doing this Stevie Wonder thing and it's just jaw-dropping. And I'm left thinking, God, I'm going to be dead in 30 years. That's not long enough to get as good as these guys. And you leave it feeling, God, what's the point? But then, I guess it's not a race, is it? You have to just be as good as you can be and enjoy. And then, of course, a couple of hours later, I'm thinking, why don't you learn a couple of the licks? You know, take out of it what you want rather than getting down about it. Learn a couple of bits. And the reason I picked on these two guys is that they're not like superstars, but they just seem to be insanely awesome at guitar. Like, they can shred, which I can't shred. And then just when I'm ready to poo-poo them and saying, oh, shredders, I don't like shredders, all they do is go up to, then they pull out these incredibly tasty licks. And then they go to jazz, and now I'm like, and then they do these beautiful cascading runs together. Clearly two very intelligent guys with great musical ears, turning their hand to any genre. And I'm left here in my little room thinking I'm the bee's knees, getting nice comments from you guys, and it just shows you everything in perspective, eh? It's just, and these guys are younger than me, I think. Yeah, they're probably younger than me, so these guys get me down. But then you just got to pick yourself up and, you know, and move on, or have a glass of wine like I'm doing. Next question. Outtakes. Let's see a couple of outtakes, because I seem to take multi attempts at a take these days, because I'm trying to keep the bar at a certain level and I can't put something on YouTube that's amateurish. So here's me having a bit of frustration. Next one, my Terra Telecaster. Sold it. You recall I did a video a few weeks ago about my brand new Fender Terra Telecaster. First of all, I hope Fender aren't listening, because they specifically asked me not to go too public about this, but they gave me that guitar free of charge because of the hassle I was having with the Princeton amp, which all of this is documented on my YouTube channel. So it was an incredibly nice gesture to give me, they said, Paul, pick any guitar you want from the new Terra range, because that's the range they're really trying to pump at the moment. I thought, beautiful gesture, that's great, and it is a genuinely good guitar. So if you've bought a Terra guitar on the basis of me giving it a good review, then I don't feel bad, because they're really nice guitars. I sold it because I want, you know, I've got my 5 guitars that I want to grow old with. You've seen them all. They're all nitro. They're all going to age well. They're all beautiful and of a high standard. Every one of them inspires me. But when I hold up the Terra, as much as it's a good functional guitar and it does what it does and it does look kind of cool, It's caked in poly finish, and rightly or wrongly, it doesn't do that. That doesn't do it for me. It's not going to grow old. I'm never going to pick it off the wall when I could pick the Telecaster off the wall, or my Strat, or my 335, or my Gibsons, whatever. So in other words, it doesn't belong in this lovely collection that I've got, that I've spent all my life trying to obtain. And then seeing the Terra on the wall stands out like a sore thumb, so I thought, I'm going to sell it. So I hope the chap who's bought it is enjoying it, and why shouldn't he? Because it's a great guitar. But it doesn't seem to fit into this collection that I have strived to build. Looper pedals. And Paul, why don't we hear you playing with looper pedals? Yeah, I've got a looper pedal, but I can't get it to work to my satisfaction, and yet the whole other guitar community is using the looper pedals. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Guitar into looper, looper into amp. I play my backing licks, stomp the foot, and it plays it back what I've been playing beautifully clear. Then I do Paul Cook tone over the top and play lead, and by Paul Cook tone I mean your typical kind of, bluesy on the edge of breakup. And every time I dig in and get the arse falls out the backing track and it goes quiet, as if the speaker of the amp can't handle me now playing dynamic lead over the backing track. Well, that's not acceptable. Is my looper broken? I took it to Guitar, and says, look, and he couldn't even really help me. And he said, enough. And then we agreed to put it through the effects loop of the Katana. That cures it. If I put the looper, if I go guitar into front of amp, but the looper in the effects loop, that cures it. But not, I like the kind of amps that don't have effects loops. So weirdly, the Boss and the Marshall have effects loops. The Cornell and the Supro do not have effects loops. So it's just one of those hassles again. So I'll persevere, but if anybody can tell me, is it possible to go from guitar to looper into the front of your amp? Am I doing something wrong? Because it's functioning as it should function. I'm still getting the track, and I can play on top, and I could layer if I really was into that. So it's not working for me. This is a good one. Why am I not in a band? Well, I was in a band called Rooster for 15 years, and in some ways best years of my life. Absolutely loved it. All of us are still alive, albeit they're all that one generation above me. It's my dad and his two pals from the 60s. So I was the young guy. So I was in my 20s and they were in their sort of late 50s, late 40s, 50s, and so on. And it was just the best thing. But trying to get that, it's like a marriage, trying to get that marriage again, I can't be bothered. I went to a band rehearsal a few months ago, and as soon as I got there I thought, what am I doing here? No respect to the guys. It's just, I'm too old. If the band member said, Paul, you're the man, we're going to call it the Paul Cook Band. I don't care what you say, Paul, we're calling it the Paul Cook Band, and we're going to boost and throw you up front, and we're going to do your thing, as if I was some sort of star. I'm having that, that's great. But of course the reality wouldn't be like that. I'm not Jeff Beck, I'm not as good as Jeff Beck, so I can't command that level of following with the band members. So unless I've got some very understanding band members, it's not going to happen. So you know what I do instead? I do YouTube, and in the summer I go and sit in the meadows at Middle Meadow Walk, and it's busy in the nice weather in Edinburgh, and I play. And I get a little percentage of, not money wise, I mean, I get a little bit of that thrill you get from playing live and having people walk past and go, he's good, that boy, and stop and talk to me. Then it fills me up and makes me feel great. I think, good. I don't care if I get any money, that fills me up. And I go home and think, yeah, that was good. And that'll sustain me for the dark months, the other 9 months of the year in Scotland that I can't do that. And then when the summer comes around again, I'll do it again. And that and YouTube seems to satisfy me. But I would need some really understanding band members to do something that I wanted to do. But please, the thought of joining a band, Paul, we're doing Brown Eyed Girl, and see ya. Right, we're going to close this soon because I'm nearly finished my wine and it's time for a top up, time for another wine. Old strings, new strings. I don't really have an issue with old strings. I could quite happily go for 5 months with the same set. I have what do you call it, WD-40 and an old duster, and I wipe them down every few plays, and I don't find any of the official problems. Officially they're supposed to not hold the tune as well. Officially they sound dull. Officially they'll break. Not for me. I don't mind old strings, so I don't spend an awful lot on strings, to be honest. And yet other guitar players say a new set every gig. What do you sweat like a mule? I don't know. So I don't worry too much about old strings. And last question before I finish up. What's my last question? Any new gear on the horizon? I think I've reached. What more could I possibly want? I've got the 5 best guitars in the world, as far as I'm concerned. I've got the glorious 59 Les Paul reissue, the beautifully, unexpectedly cool gold top that just, you know, when certain guitars they join the neck to the body and something just happens and you think, that's a good one, keep that one, put that one aside from me, Bill, because that one seems to resonate. That gold top, there's something special going on with that gold top. That's a keeper. Everything's a keeper. The Telecaster's just stunning. I've always wanted, after Roy Buchanan and Albert Lee and Arlen Roth and all my guys who play butterscotch beating up tellies, that's going nowhere. My Strat, as you know, I'm not playing that one as much as I really should, but every man has to have a Strat. The 335, that's just so easy to sound good on. Every time I pick it up, you could play like, you know, it doesn't matter how you play it, just so good sounding. So in the amps I've got, look behind me, you can see 2 of them. I've got a Supro and a Cornell somewhere behind me. What more do I want? So the only thing I'm thinking about is I use my Boss Katana Air when I go busking, and there's something that's tickling my fancy at the moment is the Yamaha THR range. They've brought out a new range, and if I can make my outdoor live sound a little bit better than the Boss Katana Air, which I really like, but if there's something better on the market, I'm likely to. So I really want to try the Yamaha THR, the new ones, the most powerful one, the 30 watt. Has to be battery powered because I need to sit in a field or in the meadows battery powered, and it has to be Bluetooth, so I have to be able to play along with my backing tracks, and that's how I do it. So if I can get something that sounds even better than the Katana Air, well then it has to be mine. So I can't believe any of you have stayed to this long. I'm probably talking to myself. Hello? So if I am talking to myself, then it's going to feel kind of weird, kind of awkward now. Anyway, if there's 1 or 2 people still listening, thank you very much for staying to the end, and I'm going to go now and get my refill. So salute, or whatever they say. That's a nice wine. See you again, and I promise to be sober. Bye for now.